Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick.
And my name is Chris. And Nick, what have we got in store today?
Well, today we are taking another cheeky look at XRP, one of the fantastic projects that we love here on the Cheeky Crypto channel. And we're talking about stablecoins, XRP, and the benefits that we might be able to see here in the near future between those two things. So yeah, we're going to have a look at the market. It's been very positive for XRP as well, Chris. So we're going to have a look at the map. We're going to dive into stablecoins. We're going to see what's going on and everything to do with XRP. It's fantastic. So as always, guys, if you do find this useful, then you know what to do. Go smash that like button for Chris. He really appreciates it. And if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you'll be kept well up to date with all of the videos and live streams that we do here on the Cheeky Crypto channel. Chris, shall we go ahead and look at the market, see what's been going on in the last 24 hours and 7 days, etc., and then dive straight on into the article of question?
Yeah, I love XRP. Let's get straight into it, Nick.
Fantastic. Right, so here we are just on CoinMarketCap, and we had a very positive day in the overall crypto space. We are now up at a massive, Chris, an absolutely massive $473 billion. A little above actually halfway towards the 2018 bull run highs of just under $800 billion. So making significant movements in the right direction. And anyone who can see here on the chart, Bitcoin has had a stormer of a day as well as XRP. So we can see that Bitcoin's gone up 5% today, Ethereum 3%, and XRP also a 5.7% gain today. And that's pretty much the case for most coins that we watch here on this channel. The only exception is Polymath. I think it's a little bit undervalued, and I think people just aren't quite getting that one yet. But I think that will come in time. Everything else is in green, Chris, which means you can't buy today, unfortunately. It's just a day that you're slightly more wealthy. Exactly. The 7-day outlook, or the last 7 days, sorry, it shows us something slightly different. So obviously, Bitcoin's up at 8%, Ethereum 2%, XRP a massive 12.8% for the last 7 days. So absolutely fantastic. Chainlink slightly down, Cardano slightly down, Ren down, SingularityNet down slightly, and a few others are down. But in terms of massive percentage gains in the 7 days, you have as the reserve rights there, Zilliqa, and then obviously XRP. All of those three tokens are in double-digit growth in the 7 days. So absolutely fantastic. And if we dive in a little bit deeper into XRP here, we can see it's currently trading at 28.38 cents. Okay, so that's a 5.95 gain there. Now, obviously, when we're looking down, I was actually just drilling down into this all-time high that we had, and we can see, $147 billion driving out that $3.80. Okay, and that was a significant amount of money flowing in, and we're starting to see some huge amounts of money flow into this space currently. We've almost had an additional billion just added directly onto XRP here. So it wasn't that long ago. I remember seeing this down at just over $12 billion in market cap, and now we're approaching close to $13 billion. So really, really good stuff. Circulating supply, as obviously we know, is 45 billion with 99.9 billion as a total supply. Trading volume is 4 billion USD for the last 24 hours. So pretty positive news in the markets all round, and specifically for XRP, who's had a fantastic 24 hours and 7 days as well. Right, Chris, shall we go ahead and have a look at this article and kind of go over what's going on?
Just before we do, smash that like button if you're happy that XRP outperformed Bitcoin for the week, because I am, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Do let us know what your thoughts are down in the comments down below. What are your thoughts of where this might end? What do you think your end of year position will be on XRP? Do drop those down in the comments below. It'd be interesting to kind of review all of those, in 24 hours from now, I'll say.
Yeah.
Right, let's have a look at this article then, Chris. So basically, this is a Ripple CEO and central banks review the XRPL or the XRP ledger for issuing stable coins. So Ripple could have signed more customers for its XRP-based payment solution on-demand liquidity, the ODL, that we all know and love so much. And that was in 2020 if there had been more regulatory certainty. And it always comes down to this with XRP and Ripple. Now, central banks are reviewing the XRP ledger as an open source technology for issuing stablecoins. So, and this is something that we have spoken about a few times before, and a few other articles where we're talking about centralized banks issuing digital currencies. Something that we spoke about on the live stream, where it came up in the House of Commons a few days ago. Talking about creating frameworks for stablecoins, etc. And this is happening all over the world, and we've also seen lots of roadmaps with different banks creating or having roadmaps towards a digital currency of sorts. And one thing that we spoke about before was kind of bridging all of that together with XRP. And this article is called looking at the from a totally different perspective, but also, how many more people could have been signed up for the ODL to utilize the XRPL as an open source technology as well. Could have been so much higher if regulations were clearer. So here in the UK, we're obviously pretty clear, but I think the US has a little bit of way to go in terms of making sure that it gets classified correctly. So in a new episode of the podcast, The Scoop, Frank basically spoke to Brad Garlinghouse about the company's success this year, as well as topics such as regulatory uncertainty in the US, why Ripple is not planning an initial public offering, so an IPO, at this time, which we've spoken about before, Chris. We think an IPO will happen at some point in the future, and that's one to watch out for, because I think that will drive XRP's price high as well, even though they really have nothing to do with XRP specifically anymore. But anyway, we'll continue through here. So, and how central banks are investing in the XRPL. Regarding the year 2020, Garlinghouse said that the year had proven to be challenging. Ripple has exceeded his expectations for 2020. So here's the quote. So, we aren't going to grow as fast this year as we thought. However, we're still getting to production financial contracts a week, the Ripple CEO said. Garlinghouse also emphasized that XRP transactions volumes have grown strongly, exceeding, for example, Bitcoin's liquidity on some days. And on some exchanges, such as 𝗕𝗘𝗪. Nevertheless, an opaque regulatory environment has prevented Ripple from reaching its full potential. So according to Garlinghouse, there is no level playing field. All cryptocurrencies in this regulatory climate. Bitcoin was the only one with the hall pass. Due to this, cryptocurrencies like XRP, which have to live without clarity, perform worse, according to Garlinghouse. And that's something that I totally agree. You see Bitcoin having this huge institutional level adoption for a few reasons. One, it's obviously very clear that they can do it and you can hold it and it's not a security. And then the second is that there's a limited supply, so it holds value, right? So they're just storing treasury wealth, ultimately, in Bitcoin. But ultimately, I think that will come to an end. There's only so much Bitcoin, right? And once all the institutions have it, which is pretty much what will happen eventually, long-term play, give it 50 years, it will be held with ridiculously huge funds. It won't hold a value for long, I don't think. But that's just my opinion. You probably disagree with me, Chris. You think this is?
I disagree, but yeah,
it is what it is.
It's good to have a debate about it, but maybe not one for a video.
Which is fine. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go on and read what's going on here. So. Are they going to choose a platform where there is regulatory clarity, like Bitcoin, or something that has uncertainty like XRP? So it has been a huge challenge. The regulatory clarity allowed investment to flow into Bitcoin, and he is right. But there is, but here in the US, when we talk about JPM or Goldman Sachs is doing, they start with Bitcoin, or even Square is an example. Square has said they support Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Well, Do I think this it where they will be in 1 year, 2 years, or 3? I'm doubtful of that. I think regulatory uncertainty has people allowed to focus on Bitcoin at the expense of some others of the other technology platforms, right? That's actually really hard to read, but basically what he's saying there is that, does he think that all of these institutions will continue to invest in Bitcoin once certainty and regulatory certainty is established? It might take 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, but he's confident that eventually, once it gets settled down, money will start flowing into these other crypto assets at a huge scale. So the Ripple CEO went on to discuss that his company was struggling with fighting with one hand tied behind our back. If there were more regulatory certainty from the US, Ripple would have already signed more customers for on-demand liquidity and the XRP ledger. Would have been there more customers if there were regulatory clarity, and this is 100% for sure. Even this week, I have been on a call with a CEO of a pretty major player, and there's zero doubt that absent regulatory clarity, people are like, well, let's wait and see, because they don't want to end up in a position where they have invested a whole lot of money to support the technology and then do something different. So asked about the IPO, and he goes on about this. So and what I said then was like, Ripple don't want to be the first. I think Ripple don't want to be the last. Man, I don't know who writes this. I said something like that, and that's generally how I feel. Now, we have continued to grow the business, so I feel good how we continue to build the business, and there are very strong network effects. I feel great. I feel great on the position we are in. So I don't think an IPO is happening in 2020. Could it be on the cards for 2021? Maybe. He's not really giving too much away there. And at the end of the interview here, so Brad basically was also revealed that the central banks have shown an interest in the XRP ledger to issue stablecoins. So certainly we do know that central banks are looking at the XRP ledger as open source technology to issue stablecoins. And that may happen, frankly. It's open source technology, so necessarily we don't or do not need to be involved in that. But as experts in using the XRP ledger, some are talking to us and we are trying to be helpful. And we think that this could be a good for overall dynamics of the XRP community. So, Chris, this is a pretty positive article. I know it's quite hard to read and there's lots going on there, but there's several different takeaways. One is obviously, talking about how regulatory uncertainty has forced institutional investors to put money into Bitcoin. And when I say forced, it's because so much printing's going on. They can't just hold fiat cash. It needs to go out of fiat cash. They could buy gold, but obviously, that's also something that could be manipulated legally. So where do they go? They've turned to cryptos, and the only one that has certainty is Bitcoin. So they're kind of being forced into that route. To a degree, anyway. And then the other kind of takeaways here is talking about how he could have had more customers if there was certainty, which means there's huge demand for what they've got. The ODL is in demand, but they're trying. A lot of these players are waiting to get that certainty before they can go ahead and actually plan it. The other thing here is that banks are going to be using or are investigating using the open source ledger technology. Okay, so that basically means that the stable coins are going to be put onto the XRPL, in that kind of sense. And that makes me really confident in the fact that if they had their stable coins on the XRPL, that they could then very quickly and efficiently use XRP as a bridge currency to bridge the stable coins. Okay, so that makes me incredibly bullish.
Yeah, and that's what I think will happen. I think it's waiting out, and I guess everything we see is just it's just for display purposes, isn't it? Really, that's how I feel anyway. I feel that it will be a currency when it becomes that bridge currency you just mentioned, I do think that will be what it is. And then you bring up the conversations around taxation. Well, you can't really tax it then. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Do let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are.
Yeah, absolutely. Do let us know what you're thinking, what your thought of this article, what you think of the current situation for XRP and how it's pumping so nicely. Do drop all of that down in the comment section down below. We do read them and try to reply to as many as possible. And as always, if you've enjoyed tonight's video, then definitely go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really does appreciate that. And as always, if you haven't done so yet, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you'll be kept well up to date with all of the videos and live streams that we do here on the Cheeky Crypto channel. And with that said, we hope you have a fantastic day and we'll catch you in the next one.
Take care, everyone.